Yeah, you cannot convince me that Winston satisfies Mayfair's needs.
I'm gonna just say, baby. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
I mean, there's a lot there.
First of all, you ableist. Winston has his underlying misogynistic tendencies, that he is the head of the family and brings in the bacon.
Bruh, why me?
Lights, camera,
Action.
Alrighty. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. My name's Mayfair.
And I'm Winston.
And we are
The Clements.
The third member of the Clements.
She's
in the
around.
Background. She's around. And once again, we are in our podcast studio. A huge thank you to everyone who is basically supporting Bring the Studio Up. You guys are really seeing the evolution of it. Yeah, so thank you guys. We had a couple of people help with lighting, so you guys can see we have some better lighting in here. Our next kind of big thing for this room is to basically add like a back curtain, because I love this wood.
But pause indeed, bro. Yeah, massive pause.
But just the look that we're going for is like more neutral, and also it kind of like reflects on the light. And for us brown skin coloured people, you can kind of blend it into the background.
I couldn't see my head before.
Yeah, so that's the plan. So go ahead and check out the registry if you want to support the mission, get this podcast up and running. Previously, our podcast was on Patreon behind a paywall, but we want to bring it to you guys completely free. But in order to do that, we need to build out a home podcast studio so that we can make this thing sustainable. So if you've been blessed by anything that we do, if you want to see more real conversation about marriage, faith, parenting, intimacy, disability, interabled coupleism, then go ahead and check out the Amazon registry. Link is in the description. But today we've got a bit of a spicy video.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about the podcast today. We're here to talk about... We haven't done one of these videos for a couple of years, I feel.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So we're going to be doing a answering your assumptions video. And I think this time we're going to do it with a bit of a twist. Because we used a app that allowed you all to submit your assumptions anonymously. So, you know, you didn't have to display your name, display your account in public.
Y'all went hard in the paint.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, they got to input their assumptions anonymously, and boy, did they come in hot.
Where did y'all come for us?
You guys came in hot. So yeah, we're gonna go through that. We're gonna answer as many as we can, and
yes.
And yeah, let's do it. Should we just go first one?
Yes. Should I read the first one?
Yeah.
My assumption. Oh, you guys came a hot one to start with.
Spicy.
My assumption is that you guys are already pregnant, but just waiting for the right time to announce.
Let's tell them. Your Malaika'S laughing.
No comment. Next. Can you do the next one?
Yo, she's moving on.
No, I mean, we've spoken about it. Like, we definitely want to grow our family. It's on the radar, it's on the agenda, but we just want it to be in the right time. There's a lot of moving parts in our life right now that we kind of want to get situated, but definitely soon, by God's grace. Let me not say soon, because then people will be womb watching. Don't watch my womb, let me say that. Don't comment saying,
"Are you pregnant? She looks pregnant."
I could just be bloated, okay? Never do that to any woman. Unless a woman tells you she's pregnant, or unless she is very obviously heavily pregnant, just don't assume, because you don't know what anyone is going through. You don't know anyone's stories, okay? So let me just say that. No, you guys will know when the time happens in the right time. And I don't know, this time maybe, I think last time with Malaika we announced like pretty much around 13 weeks.
Yeah.
This time do you reckon we'll wait a bit longer? Like, will we do it at the, you know, end of the first trimester?
To be decided. But yeah, we might keep you guys waiting a little bit longer, but in terms of it being a goal, it's definitely more of a short-term goal
Yeah.
than a long-term goal. So Stay tuned.
There you go.
Okay, next one says, love you, Clements family. Assumption, you're rolling in the moolah. Did I say millionaires?
Someone say millionaires.
Oh, sorry, did someone say millionaires? Are you a millionaire?
By faith.
Yes!
By faith!
Now, like I said in the previous video, it depends on which currency. I mean, we're definitely building our business, especially here in the States. So we've been in the States coming up to 3 years now.
Yeah.
And we know that, you know, the stuff that we do on YouTube, speaking, all the books and everything else that we're launching, we know it's gonna get big, but I think more importantly for us, it's about impact. Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, in the Bible it says, seek first the kingdom and all these other things shall be added unto you. So that's what we're doing.
633.
Exactly. So we're trying to find ways to stay aligned with what God's calling and purpose is in our lives.
Yes.
And if that results in us becoming millionaires in dollars, then
Receive it.
glory, glory, glory.
What my husband said, we aren't there yet, and honestly, and I think this is something we have spoken about in previous podcast episodes, and something that we want to speak more transparently on. I think there's a perception, like when you're on social media or you're an influencer, that you automatically are rolling in it, but actually, like, starting again in a new country has had its challenges financially. Like, we're still building. There's so many things that we'd love to take more frequent holidays, we'd love to furnish our house, all of these things, but we're just in a season of, you know, we believe that God is going to increase us at the right time, but keeping it real, like, we're not there yet. Like, we're still building, and we're not the type of people to go into debt to maintain, like, the illusion of a lifestyle that we don't yet have.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's that.
But we blessed.
We blessed. Okay, next one.
Yeah.
Next assumption, that you have your daily devotional time on point. I appreciate that. It's something that we both prioritize. This room that you guys see, you know, is kind of like the space that I use to do my devotional time. At the beginning of this year, shout out to Shantarika for my birthday, not at the beginning of this year, in September, I got a study Bible, and that has really, really helped me. So yeah, it's something that we prioritize, but I don't think it's anything that you ever perfect. It's just being led by the Spirit. But my friend Melody, she has an amazing channel where she talks a lot about how to actually study the Bible. And
Yeah.
she also is running like a monthly Bible study session. So if it's something you're interested in growing in, definitely check out Melody Alyssa on YouTube too.
Yeah, definitely. And same for me. I mean, this is not where I do my devotional time, but it's something that we're both trying to become really consistent at, whilst also juggling all the other responsibilities that we have with the business, parenthood, and all that good stuff. So we're on a journey, like I'm sure many of you are.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Mayfair, do you ever resent having to do all the shopping, cleaning, cooking, etc.?
I think this is just me assuming, because I don't actually do more than I think many women in a household like do. Yeah, like, we're pretty traditional in our roles. That's the way both of us kind of like it, and it's what works for us. So do I ever resent it? Never resent. Like, I think it's a joy. Like, I've from very young, like, I've wanted to like have my own home, have my own family, be married, have children. So I look at it as a blessing. There's always going to be times that the enemy will try and make something that God has blessed you with feel like a burden. But whenever I do get to a point where I'm tired, like, you guys know, like, we'll delegate, we'll go out, we'll order takeout, you know, we'll go to a Whole Foods hot bar, like, we'll get the support that we need. But no, never resent, but I'm also aware that as a homemaker, the enemy just fights homes, because it's such a precious thing. Like, home is the foundation for all of us. Like, we all needed a home to thrive, right? Like, for me, this is my first ministry. So the enemy will always try and attack that, and he's really good at making things that are blessings feel like burdens. But for me, I just try and be intentional about pointing myself back to the fact that, no, this is a blessing, and if at times it feels like a burden, I get to bring it back to God, and I also get to get practical support to help ease that, because I'm not superwoman. I have times where I'm tired, I have times where I feel overwhelmed, or you know, the business needs more from me, Malaika needs more from me, our marriage needs more support, and then the home and things take a back seat. But resent, never. Hey, I would like to say that I truly admire how you're able to share your life, but at the same time be private. Folks are nosy. My assumption is that, and facts, my assumption is that you struggle sometimes with getting folks together with their insane thoughts about your life after looking at 1 hour or less of a 24-hour period.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's fair, because what we share on YouTube or on social media is a very tiny percentage of our day-to-day lives, and yeah, and people can look at that fraction of our day and decide, okay, this is how their lives are all the time, when it's just not the reality. Yeah, we create content in a similar way that, you know, someone watching might go on vacation and take a few pictures by the beach. It doesn't mean that that's your life all the time.
Yeah,
right?
You don't know what happened before that picture was taken, after that picture was taken. You're looking at a snapshot.
It's a snapshot, and so I think sometimes that's hard to convey to people for some reason. I mean, it seems pretty obvious, but yeah, I guess because we're producing more content, and people see some patterns in the content, and they assume that, okay, this is what they do all the time. So yeah, it is a challenge, and as you're going to see with some of the upcoming assumptions, it does kind of, it presents some stereotypes that people have.
Yeah, and I think that's a good observation, that like we do share our lives, but we're also pretty private, like about things that matter and for specific reasons.
Yeah,
like I think we shared it a couple of vlogs ago, like we had just come out of a disagreement, but we're not going to come and vlog, like you're never going to see like the mess that we may be going through like in our relationship in real time. We'll share afterwards, especially like in the podcast, but it's more from a perspective of like protecting our peace, number one, and two, I don't ever want to be bleeding out on the internet when really what I need is therapy, when really what I need is to be having conversations with my husband. And also when it comes to our daughter, she loves the camera now, as you guys can see, but also she's not at the age yet where she's able to understand like the implications of like sharing certain things online. So we want her to get to a point where she's like, yeah, I do want to share this about my life, and make that decision for herself. Our goal is to protect her first and foremost. We know that you guys love Malaika, and she loves you guys too, honestly. Like, she loves the C fam, but at the same time, she's a kid. Our number one priority is not content, it's our family, and making sure they're protected, making sure they're safe, making sure we're sane.
Okay, so the next one says,
oh,
this is one of those. Okay, so the next one says, Mr. Clements, by the way, Clements, S,
with an S,
has a big chip on his shoulder. I remember him saying that it was important to pick up a beautiful wife, as if he's Mr. Universe. Meaning he wouldn't pick up a woman with a disability like his. Big contradiction.
Let me let you start, because if I open my mouth for this one,
I mean, there's a lot there.
First of all, you ableist. There's
a lot there.
First of all, you're ableist. Because how is... Okay, first of all, it's never been recorded that he said it's important to him to marry
when did I say
beautiful
that?
wife. Where is it? Second of all, even if it was, where's the crime? Who doesn't want a spouse that they find attractive? Third of all, the implication that you made was that if he said, okay, I want a beautiful wife, that means... You said, meaning he wouldn't pick up a woman with a disability. Are you saying someone who has a disability isn't beautiful?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's the ableist part.
That's ridiculous.
Because you're automatically assuming that
those two things don't go together.
those two things don't go together.
Disability.
Yeah, you could be someone with a disability and be attractive.
100%.
And so...
Look at my man. Look at my man.
So yeah, I think there's an opportunity for reflection for whoever sent that one in.
Stop it. Get some help.
Like, where's that coming from? If you in your mind believe that disability and being unattractive are almost the same thing, then that's probably something to reflect on in your quiet time.
Yeah.
And maybe explore where that came from.
And people's preferences are people's preferences. And I think, again, it's the ableist thing of feeling like because someone has a disability, they don't get to have the same preferences as someone else chooses to have. Like, where's the contradiction in
Right,
that?
right. And also the plot twist is, you know, any of us can become disabled at any time, right?
Oh, Lord!
There you go.
And so it's not that people with disabilities are always the same group of people. Every day, non-disabled people are joining that community. Mm-hmm. So it's something that we should all be really aware of and humble.
Yes.
You know, every day that you get to go out, do your job, go to school, whatever, come back home,
It's a gift.
is a gift, right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't assume that there's a hierarchy, because that's not even how God operates.
Anyway, the next one. This one, they are always talking about burnout. They even hired a maid to clean the house. Which burnout are you talking about? Sitting at home the whole day. In the real world, we wake up at 4:30 to commute, work, fetch kids from school, buy food, cook it, have deadlines, rush in between appointments. Okay, so this assumption, I think, there was actually quite a few of like this similar variation, which is like just that assumption that like our lives are somehow like much easier compared to other people's life who may, for example, have like a 9 to 5. I mean, the first thing I'm going to say is I'm not going to sit here and justify why my life is harder than someone having a 9 to 5. I've had a 9 to 5 and it's the lifestyle that I have intentionally chosen, or we've intentionally chosen not to have. No knocks to anyone who does have that lifestyle, but I think we all have the option to say, this is what I want for my life, and to work towards it. And for me, for us, it's important that we get to enjoy our money. It's important that we get to be present for our kids. I get to homeschool my daughter. That's important for me. I get to give my husband my best energy, not what's left of me after I've given it to someone else and poured it into something else. Second of all, you've got no idea what time I wake up. And I think, I don't know, for me, you're sounding a little bit bitter, okay? And if you don't like your life, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but there are always ways to change it. And if you are a mother, I offer coaching that can help you restructure your life so that you can actually create a life that feels good for you. You can actually create a life that allows you to pour into the things that you want to pour into. And yeah, like, we are blessed, like, we are fortunate. We do work hard in what we do. This sitting in front of a video and talking to you guys is like 5% of our business and the things that we spend our time doing. But even still, no, I don't wear struggle like a badge of honor. I don't wear, rushing around and being flustered and waking up at the butt crack of dawn, and going to sleep at midnight and doing it again as a badge of honor. That's not what I want for my life. So I just about creating it.
Yeah, and that's why we left the corporate world, right? So like, we were working, got burnt out, our health suffered, we didn't have time to prioritize each other and the things that we valued.
Yeah.
And so we started to take steps. It didn't happen overnight. We started to take steps to create a life that befits the lifestyle that we want to have, especially when we get a family. So hopefully ours can be a testimony to you that it is possible with prayer and with taking little steps to work towards a vision that you do see for yourself.
Yeah, life's too short not to at least try to work towards a life that brings you joy. So that's all we did. It's all we're still doing.
Staying at home all day,
Wild.
Okay, cool.
Also, we don't have a maid. We have a cleaner that comes every 2 weeks, which is something that I 100% recommend to anyone who is able to afford it. Buy yourself back some time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the next one is, you cannot convince me that Winston satisfies Mayfair's needs. Mayfair will never experience the joys of having a partner that shares 50% of parental duties, housework chores, and satisfies her physically. So sorry, you're never gonna have that.
Thank you.
The sad part is that Winston has a chip on his shoulder. He thinks he answers all her needs again. There's so much there. Like, oh my god.
I know.
Even Malaika'S laughing. Okay, so we have a 50-50 person here. So everything needs to be 50-50. Like, if there's 4 plates in the sink, you wash 2, I wash 2. Okay, cool. And then there was also the thing about satisfies her physically. Like, maybe I'll let you speak on that part. But yeah, like for me, it's just preloaded with assumptions. And it feels again that would you have these same assumptions of a non-disabled person? Because we structure our lives in ways that allows us to lead in areas that we're strong at, right?
100%.
So my wife is a much better homemaker than me, believe it or not. I am into business, and so I'm able to lead in that area, and then together we have a partnership that works for us as a family. And then there are things that kind of fall in between. Yeah, there's so many things that we both do. There's chores that we both do. I mean, I made a video, what was it, like 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, kind of showing the things that I'm able to contribute to from a chores perspective.
Yeah.
So maybe whoever submitted that assumption, you didn't watch that video, so maybe go watch it.
And that wasn't even everything. Like, I guess some people have that model that, okay, we do 50-50. We prefer to look at what are each other's strengths and work based off of that. I haven't had to pay a bill in this, like, I haven't had to physically go into, you know, whatever, gas south and pay a bill the whole time we've been married. Like, I haven't had to worry about where we're investing our money because that's my husband's strength, and there's certain things that he hasn't had to think about or worry about because that's my strength. That's the way that we choose to do partnership.
And the main thing is that it works for us. Like, you know, whether
Right.
you see it as 80-20 or 90-10, like, as
it
long as
works
we're
for us.
happy, you know, I think that's the main thing. Like, if we were doing what we're doing but complaining about it, then maybe you could say, hey, why don't you guys redistribute, you know, the
Right.
things that you're doing? But we're happy.
Yeah.
And so that's why I would encourage anyone, you know, like if you're in a partnership with your spouse, then, you know, play to each other's strengths and find a balance that works for you all.
Do what works for you.
Yeah, you don't have to conform to any like 50-50 thing, wash 2 plates each, you know, put one baby to bed each, like that's just long.
Do what works for you.
So.
And I think that was the bit about satisfies physically.
Oh,
I guess
yeah,
the
sorry.
assumption is that I'm not satisfied physically.
Because a person with a disability, again, should not be able to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to just say, baby.
Not baby.
Baby, I get what I need.
Baby.
Baby, I get what I need. Yeah, my husband puts it down. I'm going to just leave it at that. Keep it PG. But yeah, my husband puts it down. I'm satisfied. I feel like you can tell when, you know, someone is under-sexed. And I'm gonna just leave it at that.
And again, it's such a huge assumption. Like,
A huge assumption.
Based on what?
Yeah.
Anyway, this one's too juicy. We could
Yeah,
stay
well,
here, but I think
let's move on.
We need to move on.
Okay, next one. Why did they leave the UK and decide to move to the US? They have never explained that to their subscribers. US doesn't offer NHS for citizens. How do they manage medical bills?
I mean, first of all, we've talked about our move to the US, and we've spoken quite a few times about, you know, to us this felt more like a calling.
Yes.
So it wasn't something that, you know, we got offered a job or, you know, we had something concrete that we were moving to, but we just knew that, hey, for our next chapter, God wants us in the US. Yeah, and also we were in a position where, again, we're not working a 9 to 5, we're not working for a corporation, so we can take our business and relocate to anywhere as needed. And so for us, when the calling came, there was not really a reason that we couldn't do it other than maybe leaving family behind, leaving our community behind, and leaving the familiarity of home behind. So yeah, we're still on that journey to unpack what that calling is. But I think a big part of it, we know, especially now as we're kind of 3 years into this, you know, into this calling, and the people that we're meeting, and, you know, learning more about things like disability advocacy, being involved in our church community, and just getting to know different people. I think slowly we're starting to get a few more pieces of the jigsaw and seeing what that could be. And then the other part was about bills. So I mean,
medical bills.
Again, to me, that's a math problem, right? So you can assume that we've done the math to figure out what we can afford.
We ain't stupid.
Like, we're not coming here to, like, if there's an emergency and we need healthcare.
We have a special guest that's decided to join the set. I'd like to say hi, Sifa.
Say hi, Sifa.
Say hi.
Hi, Sifa.
fresh. Anyway.
Yeah, like I was saying, with the bills and the medical bills, I think that's just, you can assume that we've done the math to be sure that we can afford to survive. You know, we're not going to put our family in danger by going to a place where if we have a health emergency, then we would just die because we can't afford healthcare.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us a little bit of credit for that.
And also, I think it's assuming that because of like, it's assuming what someone's health bills might be based off of disability, but you don't know.
Yeah, probably our health bills are not that different, you and I.
She said no.
Okay, the next one says, Winston's talks are always around the same topic. How does he manage to stay appealing and relevant in such a saturated market of motivational speakers? I mean, I'm not going to spend too long on this, but I think with anything, in order to achieve mastery, you have to specialize, right? And so that's what I do. I have a couple of topics which I specialize in the areas of leadership and disability inclusion. And, you know, I want to go deep in those topics rather than become a jack of all trades. You know, it's like if you're choosing a restaurant and you wanted to have some Chinese, you'd rather go to the specialist Chinese restaurant, not the one that does Chinese and Indian and Jamaican all under one roof. So that's how I see it. I'm on the road to mastery, and as soon as you become more of a master with your craft, then the bookings will take care of themselves, right? So yeah.
Okay, the next one. Am I right to assume that you had to explain your relationship to people a gazillion times because of society's adverse perception about disability? I will say actually that like the internet is not real life. Like in real life, it's like the internet, people like obviously feel like they can be braver and say like more ridiculous things, but in real life people are too busy thinking about their own lives to worry about what's going on with our relationship. But I will say 100% ableism is a thing. Well, we don't have to explain, we don't, but people feel like we have to explain because our relationship looks different because Winston has a disability, but we just try our best not to take that on. Like, we're happy in our marriage and that's what matters. But yeah, 100% people will feel like they have the right to put you on the spot because I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why for us it's so important to just normalize, so that just like you wouldn't question an interracial couple or someone from a different country, whatever, then it should be afforded the same grace to situations where disability is involved. So,
I can just read this one. Does Malaika attend any physical therapy classes? So I think we have mentioned before that when it comes to Malaika, we are very specific about the content and the information that we do share about her, because again, she's not old enough to consent to certain things being shared about her. But we will answer this one. Malaika does go to physical therapy classes. I know there's a lot of assumptions about people make a lot of assumptions or like put comments like, oh, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? Just know that we have her best interest at heart. Malaika works incredibly hard to hit her milestones. Everything that you see her doing, whether it's standing, crawling, whatever, it's so much effort that's gone into that on her part, on the part of like her physical therapist, like all of her team involved. So yeah, y'all don't have to worry about our child. We've got her best interest at heart. She gets everything that she needs to thrive, and she's doing fabulously. Like, yeah, miracles and miracles just coming from this girl. So
yeah, you can assume that as her parents we think about Malaika more than anyone watching this right now.
Yeah. Okay, this will be the last one that we do. Winston has his underlying misogynistic tendencies, that he is the head of the family and brings in the bacon. Therefore, his wife must do all the house chores, cook, clean, look after the child, then make herself pretty so she can be the perfect trophy wife. It is like they didn't grow up in the UK.
Bruh, why me? Not to play the victim here, but I think, did they say misogynistic?
Yes.
Yeah, I think this one is a little bit like, yeah, it just felt very personal.
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah.
From someone who I have no idea who you are. Because I think when you start throwing around words like misogynistic, first of all, do you even know what misogynistic means? Because being misogynistic implies that you have a hatred for women. or a dislike for women. And maybe we'll put a definition here on the screen so that you can see for yourselves.
Okay.
And so I think why I question that is, first of all, I was raised pretty much most of my life in a single mom household. I have 2 sisters. I'm married to a woman. I have a daughter.
That's true.
Right? So for me, that just feels like you're stretching a little bit.
And also, I think, so the comment they said about, because he brings home the bacon, his wife must do all the house chores, make herself pretty, be the perfect trophy wife. Again, every household is different. We, as you can see, we're both sat here making money. I have projects that I work on that you guys know about, like I'm working on my book. I also do speaking around motherhood, so we share a lot of responsibilities when it comes to looking after the kids. Like a lot of men, if they're working, like they're working outside of the house, I have the privilege of, if I want to take an hour or 2 hour break during the day just to rest or do my own thing, my husband is here to allow me to do that. So it's just, no, it's not the reality of what our life looks like. And thank you for saying I take the time to make myself look pretty.
I don't think it's a compliment.
But I'm going to take it as one. So, yeah, I don't mind being a little trophy. Half the time I feel like I look raggedy. So, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, honey.
But this is also the thing with some of these comments, because you know, like, you can't really win. If someone's not for you, like we said in a previous video, then they're going to find that issue with your lifestyle. Because on one hand, you know, people are saying, we don't do anything, we never leave the house. And then on the other hand, you know, it's because I leave the house and bring home the bacon that I'm now this
or
person.
bacon from the house.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all messy.
And also the head of the household thing, that is what we believe from a biblical perspective.
Yeah.
My husband, I don't know about your household, but my household, my husband is the head of our household. That doesn't mean that we aren't equal partners. It means that, like, as I said in my vows, I vow to always follow my husband as he follows Christ.
Yeah,
That's the way that things work in our household, and it's the way that I love it. I love it. I love having a head of my household, and they can never make me hate that.
Yeah, nobody's being held hostage.
They can never make me
like
hate it.
But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yes.
Oopsie. Thank you, even to those who contributed those assumptions, even the ones that were a little bit more challenging for us. We did give you permission to send them through, so we appreciate you participating in that.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings, okay? And I don't know who you are anyway to have hard feelings for you. I'm gonna just pray for you. But yeah, thank you for watching as always. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff.
Make sure you do subscribe, guys, because yeah,
some of you think you're subscribed, but you're actually not.
I
So
want you
actually
to check
make sure
right
you check.
now. Check. Are you subscribed? If you're not subscribed but you're watching regularly, please hit the subscribe button. The algorithm is fantastic, because if you keep watching our videos, even though you're not subscribed, it recommends them to you anyway. But for us, it really helps if you do press that subscribe button, because it allows us to basically keep creating this content in a sustainable way at no cost to you. It's something that you only do one time, doesn't cost you a dime, but it really helps us out. So
Yes, no cost to you, allows us to reach more people. So
yes,
definitely do that. Definitely check out the podcast registry link that we mentioned. That'll be in the description.
yeah, we want to bring this podcast to you guys. Like, don't worry, we know you guys love the vlogs, so vlogs and the interactive content is still gonna stay, but we want the podcast to be an add-on so we can really dive deeper, give you guys something, you know, that you can listen to on your commute, you know, that you can have in the background when you're cleaning, as well as something that you can sit down and watch over a cup of tea. So we want to give you both, but
and the podcast will be on its own channel, right?
Yes.
So make sure you subscribe to the 2 and 10,000 podcast channel, and then we will keep this channel, the Clements, for all the visual vlogs and all the fun stuff that we do day to day.
Yes, and y'all will get to see Malaika.
All right, Malaika, shall we say goodbye to everybody? So bye, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye, Sifa. Blow them a kiss. See you in the next one.
And cut!